You need some. Hand me your glass. You need some cocktail.
Mark, how do you say it?
Hooper.
Hooper.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I feel like we're doing drunk tiki.
Yeah. All these episodes are drunk tiki.
Can I get like really really soused and give you the history of tiki?
Yeah.
God,
That was this guy named
we need to do that, right?
Drunk Tiki.
God, sometime this weekend I want to do that.
Every video I do, what gives you the impression that I'm sober right now?
You wear it well.
Hi everyone, this is Ray. Hi everyone, this is Ray, or some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray, and today I'm at the Alibi in Portland, Oregon. I am with Mark Hopper, right? Hooper.
That's all right.
All the way from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yes.
And
Ikipahaku.
What is Ikipahaku?
That's Hawaiian for Little Rock.
Is that what it means?
Yeah. Ikipahaku.
So, how did you get in Little Rock, Arkansas?
Yeah.
What's the tiki scene like?
Man, the tiki scene in Little Rock.
Or are you the tiki scene?
Man, you know what? For a while there, I was the tiki scene, but there are so many people who have engaged. It's growing,
Yeah.
and there are some bartenders. The tiki scene in Little Rock is a bar forward scene.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a few people, like a friend of mine, Lisa Class James, hi Lisa, who are into the tiki aesthetic. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the bartenders, these guys, Merrick Fagan and Luigi, I can't say your last name, and Todd, these guys have embraced tiki, and they, Spencer Jansen, they've helped push tiki and make it more of a household word in Little Rock, because it's amazing. The people on the West Coast, people in these population areas where there is tiki, you probably don't get the question, what is tiki, as often as I do.
Yeah.
And it's.
Oh, I live in Seattle and I get the question.
Well, I'm sure there's still people that are.
So what's this? What tiki? What is that? What is that? And it's just like, where do I begin?
Yeah.
You know? And are you from Little Rock? Was born and raised, or?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Little Rock. My family lived in Ohio for a brief time.
Okay.
My dad passed away. Was a graduate of the University of Dayton. So there's a little bit of a Midwestern. And my mother's family, my grandfather grew up in Minnesota. So there's kind of like a Midwestern sensibility about our family. But yeah, it's kind of that, like Arkansas, it's kind of a blend of Midwestern and Southern.
So how did you get into tiki then?
I got into tiki. I've been thinking about this because I get asked that question a lot. I was the front man for a rockabilly band, and that's neither here nor there. But I ran into an old college friend, Tim Moritz, Tiki Mo. What's up, Tiki Mo? Who started a surf band, the Reverberitos. And you can get the Reverberitos CD, I think, still on CD Baby. Okay. Widget is the name of the CD. And he wanted me to manage his surf band. And I said, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And we were, and they had released their CD, and their CD got a lot of critical acclaim from some of these surf sources, which, you know, is a pretty tight-knit community. So North Sea Surf and Go Surf, some of these different shows were really playing their CD, and so we were wanting to go market their CD, kind of take the press packs and promote the band.
Yeah.
We were looking at Surf 101, and at that time Surf 101 was not at the best time for us because he had two young kids, and Surf 101 is always at SG 101, Surf Guitar 101 that is always at the end of August, September, and so because he had kids going to school, it just wasn't going to work. So we were looking around for another opportunity to promote the band, and I kept stumbling upon information about the Hukilau.
Okay.
And I had no idea what it was. I kept reading about it, and it interested us. And our wives said, "Go, have fun." And it was at a time of year where we could do it without it getting in family way. So we went to the Hukilau.
So you went down to Fort Lauderdale.
We went down to Fort Lauderdale.
What year was this?
2009.
2009. Wow. Okay.
So I'm a neophyte to Tiki, comparatively speaking, to a lot of people. I feel like I am.
Well, it's almost a decade. I mean, that's a long time.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And it's amazing how in a decade's time you can really get completely immersed in something.
Absolutely.
But I remember getting there to the Bahia Mar Hotel and walking in, and Tim and I just kind of stopping, and the lobby wasn't really crowded because we got there like maybe an hour and a half before the evening event, so people were getting ready and people were in their rooms. But there were a few people milling around the hotel, and we saw all these people that looked just like us. It's like we're home.
You're like, my people.
Yeah, that whole idea about being with your tribe, it felt just so right. And that night was epic. It was epic. That was the night that the intoxicators blew the fuse on the evening, and the music had to stop. But then later on that night, in one of the suites at the hotel, the Disastronauts played, and it was like something out of Beach Blanket Bingo, maybe on acid a little bit. I mean, it was crazy fun. It was hot as hell, and it was just contagious. I remember at one point they launched into Moto X. They launched into one of my favorite surf songs. I can't think which one. And
it's such your favorite that you don't remember which one it is.
I have many favorite surf songs, and I jumped off of the couch. I remember flying off of the couch, and I was hovering above the crowd.
You know how to levitate?
That night I did.
You're like,
and I landed on the floor right in front of the band, and then chaos ensued. Everybody hit the dance floor, and the rest of the night we didn't stop dancing. And so after the show, there was someone was blowing up an inflatable pool. And we're like, what's up? So then there was a crowd of about 25, 30 people that went out into the Atlantic Ocean, and everybody had bottles of rum.
Okay.
All these bottles of rum, and they were tossed into
what could go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. So this pool held everybody's rum, and we floated in the Atlantic Ocean. There may or may not have been swimsuits removed. I'm not going to say. The night just got even more fun.
I can imagine.
And
nudity, rum, the Atlantic Ocean.
My friend,
I'm assuming that some swimsuits came off.
Tim kept reaching for a bottle of rum in the inflatable pool.
And he reached for some. We came up with it.
No, he kept drinking from this one bottle, and he was like taking these big swigs. And I was like, Tim, what are you drinking? He was drinking the blackstrap rum from Cruzon.
Okay.
And I was like, you're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah, that's some pretty heavy stuff.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, it was a great night. Hukilau helped get us acclimated and introduced to this whole culture. While I was at the Hukilau, I met a lot of really fun, friendly people.
Yeah.
There were these certain people that were exceptionally fun and very engaging. Justin and Mo Bird from Nashville, Tennessee. They immediately included us in everything, and Chip and Andy down in Fort Lauderdale. Joe and Nicole Desmond. I was walking down the hall in my hotel, and this guy was walking the other way when he was holding an ice bucket. And as I walked past him, he hooked my arm. And I had not met him yet. It was Joe Desmond. He grabbed me by the arm and said, "Where's the ice machine? We've got an emergency." And I said, "Well, I think it's right here." He never let go of my arm. He dragged me to the ice machine. He filled and I was carrying a Bali High Headhunter mug, and it was empty. I was carrying it upside down, so it was empty. And he said, "We have an emergency." And he got some ice, and I said, "So, you good now?" He goes, "No, we still have an emergency. Your mug is empty." And he carried me to his room, I don't know if you've ever had cocktails from Joe Desmond, but he knows what he's doing, and he would always help Jeff Beachbum Berry he would kind of bar back for his seminars and stuff. So in Jeff Berry's seminar that day, he talked about the dead bastard, suffering bastard, and sure enough, Joe was making dead bastards, and he filled my mug up, and I met some of the other people who I would later find out are members of the FOM. So all these people I met that were really...
Well, what is the FOM?
The FOM is the Fraternal Order of Moai.
Can you talk about the FOM?
I can talk about the FOM.
Yes.
So I met these people. They were very engaging, and I felt immediately connected.
Cool.
So I got...
Fraternal Order of Moai.
Yeah, and the Fraternal Order of Moai is a 501c3 charitable organization. We actually raise money for the Easter Island Foundation. It's really cool to think about this, Ray. We raise money to send kids from Rapa Nui or Easter Island for the layperson to college in either Chile or the United States, and
Wow.
that's huge. And I know that that's so important, but I can't get past. I'm just always awestruck to stop and think about the fact that we also raise money for the maintenance and the upkeep of some of the oldest pieces of antiquity on the face of the earth. We're helping sustain the life of the Moai on Rapa Nui, and that's
incredible.
Just so, yeah. We really take that seriously. We're very, very proud of the fact that we have fun, but we also raise money for a lot of good causes.
Yeah. If anyone wants to be, and you could, how do people? If someone's interested in joining, what do they need to do?
If someone wants to join the FOM, first talk to, get to know a FOM member nearby if you happen to know one.
Was there a website?
There is a website.
What's
yeah,
the
it's
website?
www.fraternalorderofmoai.org.
And you're on Facebook too, right?
And we're on Facebook. And I'm on Facebook. You can reach out to me.
And you have chapters throughout the country.
We have chapters. I'm a nomad. I'm called Tengane.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a chapter in my area yet.
You are the chapter.
I am the chapter. Tim or Tiki Mo and I are the chapter.
Yeah.
You have to have 5 or more to constitute a chapter. Now, I have some people in my area that are interested, but one, you don't want to rush that. You want it to be kind of a self-motivated cultivation on their part.
I hear you.
We have had chapter start, and then they've lost those 5 people.
Yeah.
Atlanta is a newer chapter, Tongariki, and they did it right. They got a whole lot of people interested, and they cultivated that movement. My friends, my fellows, Paul Sempt, who you may know as Rum Journey, he takes people on rum tours in the Caribbean, and James Honeycutt, Tiki Honeycutt, C. Sempt. Those people, they built this community of people, and then converted that into a chapter. So
That's
they
awesome.
did it really well. And so, yeah, we have our events. We have, people may know of Ohana Luau at the lake.
Yeah. Just happened.
Just happened. We had 500 people this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have grown. And I hate the fact that there's so many, I love the fact, but I hate the fact that there's so many great tiki events that happen year in, year out, and I can't make it to all of them. I ache to be at all of them, and who doesn't, actually?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Oasis happens really close to when Hukalau happens, and I didn't go to Hukalau this year because I was a alternate for Tiki Tiki by the Lake,
Yeah.
which is a big bartender camp, and I was hoping that I could get in on that. Missed that, and then this whole Tiki Kon thing happened. So but yeah, we do. You've been to CAT, the Chicago Area Tiki Tour, which we do, which will happen this year. We do that every other year. So people in the Midwest can go to CAT. We have Hot Rod Hula Hop, and now it's just called Hula Hop in Columbus.
Yeah.
We have Makahiki in Indianapolis in September.
Yeah.
We've got a ton of events, so it's hard to get to all of those. It's hard to get to all of them. But we have really active chapters, and we have people that want to share tiki and want to, get other people involved and give them a taste of this thing.
Speaking of taste, you also are a bartender and make drinks. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I'm a mixologist, and that kind of perpetuated my getting involved in tiki.
Alcohol.
I wanted to,
So is this what perpetuated your interest in tiki?
yes.
Rum.
I wanted to make, well, and you know what? I have been a part of the bar community as it's gone through this major transition with the craft cocktail movement. And I'm blessed. Little Rock, believe it or not, has been really active in the cocktail movement. We are, for a smaller market, we're kind of up on the trends. We're way ahead of Memphis, which is a great city, but they're kind of a barbecue and beer town. They don't. But so we've had a really active cocktail scene. But go back to 2009, 2010. I was staff exec.
Yeah, I was gonna say you come back from Hukilau with this experience.
Yeah,
and
so,
you got to be you're like you're like one of the disciples to preach the word of Tiki in Little Rock. Is that how it worked? You're like, let me tell you about this.
It is. It worked out that way. Kind of. I was on staff at the biggest liquor store in Little Rock. I was staff mixologist, and I loved Beach Bum Berry Symposium, and coming back to Little Rock, I'm like, I need to find these ingredients. I need to make these ingredients. And we were seeing things change in the liquor store and in the liquor community. A buddy of mine, Lee Edwards, who...
So hold on, did you just say the liquor community?
Yeah, the liquor community.
There's a liquor community?
Yeah, there is. The bar.
What does that mean, Mark?
People who love to drink. No, it's not.
A fancy spin on it.
Well, I mean, it's right, and now today it's the USBG chapters,
Is that really?
US bartender chapters in all the different markets are really active.
Wow.
Back then, so you had your people that worked at the liquor stores, and you had your bartenders, and you had a community. A lot of the clubs, a lot of the restaurants, they worked with the distributors, but they would come into the store to look at what's available, and they would assess. There was a guy, Michael Peace, who owned a cigar bar then. He would come into the store and just walk the aisles, and he would read bottles. And then he converted his cigar bar into a cocktail bar, and he made fantastic cocktails. He just learned off the shelves. He would ask us questions. So at the time that I was at Colonial, there was a guy in Little Rock, Lee Edwards, who was beverage manager at a really upscale hotel bar. And so through the work of the Capitol Bar and Lee Edwards, we changed the scene in Little Rock. It really launched the cocktail scene.
Yeah.
And he would bring stuff into Little Rock. Back in those days, it was hard to find ginger beer on the shelves. It was
Ginger beer.
Yeah, it was hard to find bitters on the shelves. And now those things start taken for granted. You find them in grocery stores. You find them.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's amazing how the face of available products has changed so much. So back then, I was trying to learn to make those cocktails. I wanted to make a better. I wanted to make a Mai Tai, and I wanted to make a better Mai Tai.
Yeah.
So finding orgeat.
Good luck.
Was hard.
Yeah. Well, or like good orgeat.
Finding good orgeat. Exactly. We would get the Fee Brothers in there, and it would be ultra sweet. No offense to Fee Brothers.
Well, Fee Brothers it's a good start, but it's
Yeah. So it was I was wanting to make better cocktails.
Yeah.
And not in a professional sense, in a casual sense. And so as I got involved with the FOM, I would go to Ohana and I would compete in the cocktail contest, just to raise my acumen, just to make myself better. Boy, I had some major mistakes. One year, my friend couldn't make it to the event, and I tried to make his cocktail and my cocktail both, and it was just a calamity.
Yeah.
It was like hilarious for people to watch.
Yeah.
But I don't regret that because I learned a lot about
Yeah.
what to do and how to do it. And so being a bartender. So I don't know what's the horse and what's the cart, Ray. I had been a bartender before in the past.
Yeah.
In days where I just served beer and a Cuba Libre.
Yeah.
And I approached this from the standpoint of being a casual bartender, but then it evolved into me getting back into being a professional bartender.
Yeah.
So I want to own my own tiki bar in Little Rock, and I'm hoping that I can have that come to fruition in this next year, 2 years.
Okay.
I've found a location. So
right now, where are you making drinks now?
I work in a.
Say someone's coming into Little Rock, Arkansas, and they want to get Mark's drinks. Where do you go? Where they go?
They come to the pizzeria.
The pizzeria,
Which is a Neapolitan style pizzeria. Very, very Mediterranean.
Yeah.
In the Heights area of Little Rock, corner of Kavanaugh and Cantrell. yeah, I get people that will come in, and this growing community. I have people that will come in, and they'll ask for my, I'll make my Mai Tai. I'll make my Polynesian itch. I'll make my smoldering pineapple.
Yeah.
I'll make them my dark and spicy, which is my variation on a dark and stormy.
Yeah.
But I can't call it a dark and stormy because of trademark infringement.
I understand.
And I use my product with Pink House. By the way, I sell syrups and shrubs and bitters for Pink House Alchemy, which has definitely changed the landscape of what I do and how I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely tiki. In fact, I've done tiki nights. So let me back up to
Sure.
after leaving Colonial. I was one of those barflies, one of those connoisseurs in the community.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy, Joel DePippa, who teaches, and a great guy. He works for the legislature. He and I were both non-professionals, but we would hang out. We knew all the professionals.
Yeah.
So we were respected by all the professionals in the business, but we were not behind the bar slinging. And now I'm behind the bar slinging, and Joel still is out there drinking when he can, but he can't get behind the bar. He's too busy on the other side. But I would sit down with some of my fellow bartenders, and I remember my 50th birthday, and I'm 54, by the way. Do the math. One of my bars, the bars where I hang out, Big Orange, I wanted to do a tiki night, and I had a lot of my friends from the farm come into town,
Mm-hmm.
and I batched up syrups, and I batched up some cocktails, and ironically, Lee Edwards, who was at the Capitol, was now director of beverages, was beverage director for Big Orange for the parent company Yellow Rocket Concepts. And there were some bartenders there, my friends Luigi and Ben Bell, and I got there that night. I was ready to bartend. I had all my syrups made, and they're like, no, you got the syrups made, we got it from here. So on my 50th birthday, they did the first tiki night in Little Rock that I can remember. And we had the whole upstairs, and it was all farm people and friends, and they made us zombies and Mai Tais and jet pilots, and we rocked and rolled. A couple of other friends of mine who were in the bar scene, I remember making jet pilots for them, and when they were like working late, I would bring a little Tupperware cooler. And my friend David, he unscrewed the top, and he reached down, he leaned over, and he's like, holy cow, I can't serve that in here. Like, yeah, you can.
It's like, sure you can.
It wasn't a month later that both David and George, the two bartenders I shared that recipe with, they were serving jet pilots in their bars.
That's awesome.
So, it just was contagious. It just perpetuated other tiki nights, and so I've done tiki nights at 109 and Company, at several bars in town. You don't know these places, but so I just kind of have helped fan the fire, and there are other people who are starting to do that too. There's a guy in Little Rock, Merrick Fagan. One, I love Merrick. He is one of the sweetest souls on the face of the earth. Two, he is an incredible tiki mixologist, and he does some amazing. He is kind of new tiki. He kind of riffs off of the traditional and makes his own drinks, and he does some fantastic stuff. So yeah, there's a scene there. It's growing.
So I got one last question for you.
Yeah.
How does it feel, Mark, to literally single-handedly bringing the tiki community to Little Rock, Arkansas? Because you pretty much did, it sounds to me like.
Yeah.
You're the guy.
Yeah, it's always been my goal, Ray, to have the first tiki bar in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Well, I fell short on that because I didn't realize it, but in Hot Springs, which is a resort an hour south, in the 50s and 60s, there was a tiki bar called the Trade Winds. And what's cool is my mother and father would go down to Hot Springs, and there's a seasonal racetrack in Hot Springs, the Oaklawn.
Yeah.
We one of the big horse racing tracks in the country. And they'd go to the horse races. They would stay in a hotel down there. They would go to this place called the Vapors and see just some of the biggest acts at the time, Joey Bishop and Margaret. My dad saw Ann Margaret. I just can't get over that. Ingrid Bergman was doing an act where she was singing, and they saw her. So they saw all these great acts at the Vapors. But then after the Vapors would close, everyone would go just 2 blocks down to the Trade Winds and have nightcaps. So my dad and mom probably would go to the Trade Winds and have cocktails. So there's this connection, and I've got a swizzle stick from the Vapors Lounge. That is a Moai head, and it says the Vapors Lounge, and it's like I covet that thing. It's like, you know, so it's not a direct connection with my dad, but I feel that there's this connection with my dad in this whole scene that he was into, this whole kind of this whole 50s, 60s scene that we all kind of love and we kind of covet,
of course.
that he was an active part of, and it's like, you know, I feel that connection. But Martin, Kate, hey Martin, when he signed my copy of Smuggler's Cove, he signed it, keep the tiki fire burning in Arkansas, and so it's like, you know, there's my mantra right there.
There it is.
And so yeah, I'm very proud of that, and I love the respect that I get. I don't ask for it, but my fellow bartenders, they all call me the tiki guy. I have that reputation, and so yeah, I'm glad to carry that on my shoulders.
Hey gang, this is Tiki with Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more episodes, click on the subscribe button. And if you liked the video, give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment in the comment section below.